A child asks for help. No one comes. Or someone comes, but with a price. Guilt, disappointment, conditions attached to every kindness. The help arrives wrapped in resentment, or it arrives too late. Or it arrives and then is held over the child's head for years afterward. The message is never spoken directly. It does not need to be. Children understand what is being taught even when no one is teaching. The lesson writes itself directly into the nervous system, deeper than language, deeper than memory, deeper than anything the child will be able to access later when they are an adult trying to understand why they cannot let anyone in. The lesson is simple. Needing someone is dangerous. Asking is a mistake. The only safe person is yourself. The child does not decide this. The child's body decides it for them. The nervous system encodes it as survival information, as important as knowing that fire burns or that falling hurts. Dependence equals danger. Vulnerability equals pain. The equation is written in the architecture of the brain itself, and it will run automatically for decades, long after the original danger has passed. The child grows up. The child becomes the adult who does everything alone. People admire them. They are the ones who never ask for help, the ones who figure everything out on their own. They carry weight without complaining. They give advice but never need it. They handle crises while others fall apart. They are the rock, the anchor, the one everyone else leans on. Society has many names for this: strong, resilient, independent, self-made, capable, reliable. The names are always positive. The names are always admiring. The culture rewards this behavior with promotions, with respect, with the quiet reverence reserved for those who seem to need nothing from anyone. But admiration is a view from the outside. From the inside, something else is happening. The door closes at the end of the day. The performance ends. The competent, capable, endlessly reliable person sits alone in a room that no one else is allowed to enter. Not because they want to be alone, but because the alternative, letting someone in, letting someone see, letting someone help, triggers something that feels like danger. The body tightens when someone offers assistance. The mind generates reasons to refuse. The words come automatically. I've got it. I'm fine. I don't need anything. And the words are believed because the alternative is to feel the fear underneath them. This is not strength. This is a wound dressed up as strength. This is a survival adaptation that was necessary once, that saved a child who had no other options, that built walls because walls were the only protection available. But the child is gone now. The danger is gone now. And the walls remain. The pattern shows itself in predictable ways. In relationships, the hyperindependent person does everything. They plan, organize, manage, solve. They take care of the other person while refusing to be taken care of. They give endlessly but cannot receive. When their partner tries to help, they feel irritated or suffocated or contemptuous. They complain that they have to do everything alone, while making it impossible for anyone else to do anything. The partner feels useless, unnecessary, locked out of a room they were never given the key to. They try to express love through action, by helping, by carrying part of the load, and they are met with resistance. The hyper-independent person does not experience this resistance as rejection. They experience it as competence. I can do it better myself. It is faster if I just handle it. I do not want to have to explain. But underneath the competence is fear. fear of relying on someone who might not deliver, fear of being disappointed again, fear of needing something and not getting it, which is what happened before, which is what always happens. The relationship fails, and the hyper-independent person takes this as confirmation. See? This is why I do everything myself. You cannot count on anyone. The wound creates the evidence for its own validity. In work, the pattern is the same. The hyper-independent employee cannot delegate, cannot trust others to do it right, cannot tolerate the anxiety of depending on someone else's competence. They take on more than is sustainable. They burn out in silence because admitting exhaustion would mean admitting need. And admitting need is still, after all these years, the thing the nervous system cannot allow. They are promoted for their reliability. They are praised for their work ethic. They are held up as examples while slowly collapsing under weight that was never meant to be carried alone. In friendships, they are the listener, never the speaker. The advisor, never the advisee. The strong one, never the struggling one. Their friends do not know what is happening in their inner world, because that world has been sealed off since childhood. The friends assume that the hyper-independent person is fine, is handling everything, does not need support. The assumption is wrong, but the hyper-independent person cannot correct it without becoming something they do not know how to be, someone who needs. The hyper-independent person is not hiding intentionally. They are not being deceptive. They genuinely do not know how to need someone out loud. The skill was never developed. The pathway was never built. Where other people have a bridge between inner experience and outer expression, they have a wall, and the wall is so old that it feels like self. The nervous system is not interested in truth. It is interested in survival. When a child learns that asking for help produces pain, abandonment, guilt, manipulation, betrayal, the brain encodes a simple rule. The rule is not nuanced. The rule does not account for context, for different people, for changed circumstances. The rule is a blunt instrument designed for one purpose: avoid the pain. The rule becomes automatic. By the time the child is an adult, they do not experience the rule as a rule. They experience it as preference, as personality, as just who I am. I prefer to do things myself. I like being independent. I don't need much from other people. These feel like choices. They are not choices. They are the nervous system running old code, protecting against a threat that no longer exists. The body remembers what the mind has forgotten. The body still flinches when someone offers help, still tightens when someone gets too close, still generates resistance when someone tries to care. The body does not know that decades have passed. The body does not know that the dangerous people are gone. The body only knows the rule, and the rule says, do not depend on anyone. This is why insight alone does not fix hyper-independence. A person can understand perfectly where their pattern came from. They can trace it back to childhood, name the events, identify the people who taught them that needing was dangerous. They can have complete intellectual clarity about the origins of their armor. And the armor remains, because the armor is not held in place by ignorance. It is held in place by the nervous system, which does not respond to insight. The nervous system responds to experience. It responds to safety, repeated over time, until the old rule is slowly overwritten by new information. This is slow work. This is unglamorous work. This is the work that cannot be compressed into a revelation or a breakthrough or a single therapeutic session where everything changes. The threat was real once. The adaptation was intelligent once. The walls were necessary once. But the body does not update automatically. The body does not check whether the old danger is still present. The body keeps running the same program year after year, relationship after relationship, until the program runs out of places to hide and finally becomes visible. Usually, this happens through exhaustion. The weight of carrying everything alone eventually becomes unsustainable. The body breaks down. The anxiety becomes unmanageable. The loneliness, which was always there underneath the independence, becomes impossible to ignore. And the person is forced to ask a question they have been avoiding for decades. Why can I not let anyone help me? Arthur Schopenhauer imagined a group of hedgehogs on a freezing winter night. The cold is unbearable. To survive, they must huddle together, sharing body heat. But as they get close, their spines prick each other. The pain drives them apart. But the cold punishes them again, forcing them back together. The hedgehogs move in and out, closeness and distance, warmth and wounds, until they find a tolerable middle ground. Not warm, not wounded, just survivable. Schopenhauer saw this as a metaphor for human intimacy. People need each other. The cold of isolation is unbearable, but closeness brings vulnerability, and vulnerability brings pain. So humans negotiate the same impossible distance, close enough to survive, far enough to avoid being hurt. Most people live in this negotiation. They get pricked, they pull back, they get cold, they move closer. They learn over time which spines are dangerous and which are tolerable. They develop the skill of intimacy, not the elimination of pain, but the management of it. The willingness to be hurt sometimes in exchange for not being alone. But some hedgehogs make a different choice entirely. They decide they would rather freeze alone than risk a single prick. They move to the edge of the group, then beyond the group. They find a place where no one can reach them, where no spine can touch them, where the only pain is the cold. And the cold, at least, is predictable. The cold does not betray. The cold does not manipulate. The cold does not promise warmth and then withdraw it. The cold is just cold, and cold can be endured. These hedgehogs call their isolation independence. They call their frozen distance strength. They do not call it what it is, a decision made long ago, when getting close meant getting hurt, and the lesson was learned so deeply that it became invisible. The hyper-independent person is this hedgehog. They have removed themselves from the pile. They survive the cold through sheer will, through endurance, through the exhausting effort of generating all their own warmth. And they tell themselves, they genuinely believe, that this is better, that needing others is weakness, that the ones in the pile pricking each other, negotiating closeness and distance, are the ones doing it wrong. But late at night, when the performance is over, when no one is watching, the cold is still there. It was always there. The price of hyper-independence is paid in currencies that do not appear on any ledger. The first currency is exhaustion, not regular tiredness, the kind that sleep can cure. A deeper fatigue, structural, load-bearing. The exhaustion of being the only one responsible for everything, always. The exhaustion of never resting, because rest requires trust. And trust requires letting go of control. And letting go of control is precisely what the nervous system cannot do. The hyper-independent person does not rest. they collapse. They push until the body refuses to continue. And then they call the collapse rest. And then they get up and push again. There is no sustainable rhythm. There is only the oscillation between grinding effort and forced shutdown. The second currency is intimacy. Relationships require receptivity. They require the willingness to be affected by another person, to be changed by them, to need them. The hyper-independent person can give endlessly. This feels safe, this keeps them in control. But they cannot receive. They cannot be held. They cannot allow someone else to carry part of the weight. Their partners feel this. The partners feel the wall, even when they cannot see it. They feel themselves being kept at a distance, allowed into the outer rooms of the house, but never into the inner chambers. They try to get closer and are met with resistance. They offer help and are met with refusal. Eventually, they stop trying, or they leave. The hyper-independent person experiences this as confirmation of what they already knew. People leave. People cannot be trusted. The only reliable person is yourself. The wound creates the very outcome it was designed to prevent. The third currency is self-knowledge. The walls that keep others out also keep the self hidden. The hyper-independent person often does not know what they feel, what they need, what they want. They know how to perform. They know how to function. They know how to solve problems and carry burdens and present a competent face to the world. But the inner world, the tender, vulnerable, needing self, has been locked away for so long that they have lost the key. They are strangers to themselves, and strangers cannot be comforted. In 1997, a film told this story without clinical language or psychological jargon. Will Hunting is a genius. He works as a janitor at MIT, solving complex mathematical proofs that professors cannot solve. He reads everything. He remembers everything. His mind moves faster than anyone around him. He is also deeply damaged. Will grew up in foster homes. He was abused, abandoned, passed from family to family, each one teaching the same lesson. No one will stay. No one can be trusted. The only safe place is behind the wall. As an adult, Will is the hyper-independent person made visible. He has friends, but he keeps them at arm's length. He works a job far beneath his abilities because success would mean being seen, and being seen would mean being vulnerable. He picks fights. He sabotages opportunities. He runs from anything that might become permanent. When he meets a woman and falls in love, the pattern intensifies. She gets close, too close. She wants to know him, the real him, not the performance. And Will cannot tolerate it. He attacks her. He pushes her away. He says unforgivable things designed to make her leave. Because if she is going to leave anyway, and she is, everyone does, he would rather control when it happens. This is the logic of hyper-independence in relationships. I will reject you before you reject me. I will prove that you cannot be trusted by making it impossible for you to stay. I will confirm my worldview by creating the conditions that guarantee it. His therapist, Sean, sees what Will cannot see. Sean sees that Will's independence is not strength. It is armor. The armor was necessary once. It protected a child who had no other protection. But the armor has become a prison. The walls that kept danger out are now keeping life out. Sean does not try to fix Will. He does not give advice or techniques or strategies. He simply stays. Week after week, session after session, he shows up. Will tests him. Will pushes. Will does everything he can to make Sean abandon him like everyone else has. Sean does not leave. This is what begins to change the equation. Not insight, not understanding. The experience of someone who stays, who does not leave, who is not driven away by Will's defenses. The film builds to a scene that has become iconic. Sean looks at Will. Will is defended, deflecting, performing the role of someone who does not need anything from anyone. Sean says it once, simply. "It's not your fault." Will deflects. He knows it is not his fault. He understands intellectually that he did not cause his own abuse. Sean says it again. "It's not your fault." Will pushes back, harder now. Sean says it again. "It's not your fault." The repetition is unbearable. Each time the words go deeper. Each time they get closer to the place that has been locked away for decades. Will's defenses start to fail. The performance starts to crack. The child who was never allowed to be a child, who had to become strong because no one else was going to protect him, finally hears what he needed to hear. The abuse was not your fault. The abandonment was not your fault. The lesson you learned, that needing people is dangerous, was the wrong lesson, taught by people who failed you. Will collapses into Sean's arms. He weeps. The armor falls. This is what the breaking of hyperindependence looks like. Not a technique, not a strategy, not a decision to be more vulnerable. A collapse, a surrender. The moment when the weight becomes too heavy and the wall finally comes down. The question is not how to become dependent. Hyperindependence does not transform into dependence. That would simply be another extreme, another way of avoiding the difficult middle ground where most of human connection takes place. The question is whether the wall can become a door. A wall has no opening. A wall is absolute. A wall says no one enters, ever, under any circumstances. The wall was built when this was the only safe option, when the child had no power, no choice, no ability to select who got close and who did not. A door is different. A door can open or close. A door implies choice. It implies that some people might be allowed in and others might not. It implies that the person inside has agency, judgment, the ability to assess who is safe and who is not. The hyper-independent person does not need to demolish the wall. They need to cut a door in it. This sounds simple. It is not simple, because the nervous system does not know the difference between a door and a demolished wall. To the body, any opening is a threat. Any vulnerability is danger. Any crack in the armor is a place where the old pain can get in. The work of becoming less hyper-independent is not cognitive. It is not about understanding where the pattern came from, though understanding helps. It is about teaching the nervous system something it does not believe, that some people can be trusted, that some help comes without a price, that some closeness does not end in pain. This teaching happens slowly. It happens through experiences that contradict the old lesson. It happens when someone offers help and the hyper-independent person accepts it and nothing bad happens. It happens when someone gets close and does not betray. It happens when the wall opens, just a crack, and the result is not catastrophe, but relief. Each experience rewrites the old equation slightly. Each experience teaches the body that the rule encoded in childhood is not universal law, but the experiences have to happen. Understanding alone is not enough, and the experiences require risk. They require accepting help without knowing if the help will be good. They require letting someone close without knowing if they will stay. They require, in short, The very thing the hyper-independent person has spent their entire life avoiding. This is the cruel irony at the center of the pattern. The only way out is through. The only way to learn that people can be trusted is to trust them. The only way to discover that vulnerability does not always lead to pain is to be vulnerable and see what happens. There is no safe way to do this. There is no guarantee. The hedgehog who moves back toward the pile might get pricked. The person who opens the door might be hurt. But the alternative is the cold. And the cold, eventually, is worse than the pricking. The hedgehog who left the pile faces a choice. They can stay in the cold forever. They have proven they can survive it. The cold is painful, but it is predictable. The cold is lonely, but it is safe. They know exactly what to expect from the cold, and there is a kind of comfort in that certainty. Or they can move back toward the pile. This does not mean returning to the center, where the spines are constant and the pricking is unbearable. It means finding the edge of the group. It means tolerating the occasional prick in exchange for the occasional warmth. It means accepting that closeness and pain are not identical, even though they were once. The hedgehog does not know in advance whether this will be worth it. The hedgehog cannot be certain that the pile will not hurt them again. The hedgehog can only know that the cold is no longer survivable, that the isolation has reached its limit, that the warmth, even with its risks, has become necessary. This is not courage in the dramatic sense. It is not a heroic act. It is desperation, finally, that moves the hedgehog. The realization that the alternative, another year, another decade, another lifetime in the cold, is no longer acceptable. Will Hunting does not become a different person at the end of the film. He does not transform into someone who needs people easily, who lets them in without resistance, who has fully healed from what was done to him. That would be fantasy. That would be the lie that stories tell when they want to provide comfort rather than truth. What happens is smaller than transformation. The wall cracks. Light enters through the crack. Will allows one person, Sean, and perhaps the woman he loves, to see him briefly, without the armor. He does not know if this will last. He does not know if he can do it again. He only knows that the wall came down once and he survived. That is all anyone can know. That the wall can come down. That the cold is not the only option. That the hedgehog can move back toward the pile, even if only by inches. Even if the spines still hurt. Even if the warmth is intermittent and unreliable. The hyper-independent person reading this, listening to this, is not being asked to change. They are being asked to notice the wall, to notice what it costs to build it, to notice what it costs to maintain it, to notice the cold that has become so familiar it no longer registers as cold, and to ask, perhaps for the first time, is the wall still protecting me? Or is it just keeping me alone? The child who learned not to ask for help grew into an adult who cannot receive it. The adult is admired. The adult is respected. The adult carries everything alone and is praised for the carrying. But late at night, when the door is closed and the performance is over, the adult sits with the same thing the child sat with. The loneliness, the exhaustion, the quiet knowledge that something is missing, that life was not supposed to be this heavy, that somewhere along the way the walls became permanent and now there is no way out. The walls were built for protection, but prisons and fortresses are made of the same stone. The only difference is whether the person inside can leave. The cold is real. The hedgehog is tired. The pile is still there, on the other side of the distance. And the only question that matters now, is whether the hedgehog will move, not all at once, not in some dramatic gesture of vulnerability, just one step, 1 inch closer to the warmth, one crack in the wall that has been solid for so long. The hedgehog does not know what will happen. The hedgehog only knows that the cold has become unbearable, and somewhere in the distance, the pile waits.